Hello everyone. So I'm really excited to make this video today about rising signs and what goes along with each rising sign, sort of their first impression and the energy that radiates off of all of them. Hope everyone's enjoying summer. Not my favorite season. I know it's like basically a sin as a Leo to say I hate the summer, but I do enjoy the sun being out longer in the day, so I'll take that. But I hope all the summer lovers are enjoying the hot, steamy weather. All right, so first I'm gonna start with Aries rising. And as we go through all of the rising signs, you'll notice that basically everything I'm describing is attributed to the ruler, the planetary ruler of that sign. So for Aries rising, a lot of their energy is very Martian. And they have a very aggressive, fiery, almost aura about them. So upon first impression, Aries risings usually appear very energetic, very spirited, super passionate. There's always a little more pep in their step. Whenever they're discussing something, they always seem to be, super opinionated about it, or feel one way, super strongly one way, and feel super strongly the other way. And they're doers, they're people of action. So they may seem like they have somewhere to be, places to go, people to see, things to do, just based off how their energy is. It's very, oh, I gotta rush to go here, I gotta rush to go there, oh, I have somewhere to be, or, oh, let's do that, let's do this. It's very, very sort of aggressive, assertive, active, energizing, spirited energy. So when you're around them, it depends on the type of person you are, but if you do have fire in your chart, if you're around an Aries rising, they might energize you. You might ping off each other and you get energized. So I have my little notes sheet here. So I'm going to put in the caption here, just my brief notes for people who can't listen or want to be able to read it before, listening at home or something. So this is what I'm going off of, all the notes I took before. So Aries risings are always ready to lead the way. They're ready to be like, okay, let's go here. Let's do this. No, I don't like that. Let's not do that. Like, they're not going to hold their opinion back. And sometimes that gets, that can get challenging for them because they put their foot in their mouth before they've even realized it. But you'll never have to guess where you stand with them. You'll always know they're super upfront. I don't think they're capable of lying, because if they were trying to lie, it would be very obvious. And they're horrible liars because they're just so blunt and honest and truthful, and they don't see the point in lying. Like, they're basically like, why should I lie? I have nothing to hide. And so they're very, very, very upfront. They're very very strong-minded, very strong-willed, a lot of energy. A lot of people always are think that they're angry, but usually they're just super passionate about things, or super animated and super energized. And a lot of times they're not angry, they're just super high energy. Which it also actually pisses them off too when you ask them, are you angry? Like, why are you angry? Calm down. And they're like, I'm not angry, I'm just passionate, I'm just hype about life. So that's Aries risings. And then Taurus risings. As opposed to Aries risings, which report to Mars, Taurus risings report to Venus. So they are a lot slower, calmer. They appear more grounded. They're someone that when you're around them, you might feel like calm or, relaxed, that sort of thing. They're very easygoing and reliable. Easygoing to a point where, they're easygoing until it's something they don't want to do, and then they'll make it known, like, okay, I'm not doing that. But most of the time they're go with the flow, unless they're, having a moody day or something. But it's definitely hard to change their mind. So once they make a decision about something, since they are fixed Earth, once they make a decision about something, there's really no changing their mind. No matter what ration you bring to them, they'll just be like, nope, this is what I think, that's it. This is what I'm doing, that's it. They're very trustworthy. So when you meet them, because of this calming, stable presence that they bring, it's easy to feel like, oh, I can kind of tell this person something, because it's not like they're not in my face. They're not, running their mouth. They're not, jumping around all over the place. They're not restless. They're kind of more conservative in their energy and internal. So another thing to note about them is that they like things to stay the way they know things are. So they are not usually the best with change. Change might throw them off their game a little bit, but they like things to stay as they are and as they know them. That way they can anticipate what needs to be done, what they need to do, like how much energy they need to bring to the table. And routine brings them a sense of stability. So they're all about this sense of security, sense of stability that they feel like they need in their life. And they want to build things, and they want to grow, and they want to, build a life for themselves. In order to do that, they feel like they need to have a routine. And they do prosper when they follow a routine and they have something that, grounds them. And like, okay, today I'm going to do this. Like today I have a plan. It makes them feel more safer. Gemini risings. So Gemini risings are ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is this kind of, you never know what you're going to get planet. And Gemini risings are very restless. They're very energetic. They're spirited. They're all over the place. They're always in motion. They'll be moving their hands when they talk, or making faces, or anything to amplify the mood and make things, more cheerful and energized and happy. They are, they will just chat away. They love to talk, and they love to, meet new people, do new things. In fact, they need variety. They need it, or else they feel like the world is stale, their life is boring, and they do something drastic. So they definitely need variety in their life, and the first impression that you get from them is that they're so multifaceted, because they can jump from one conversation topic to another. One day they're, I don't want to go outside. Next day they're, I'm outside, that's it, I need to go outside, I need air. So you never know what you're gonna get with them, and that sort of makes life exciting. And that's the type of energy they bring to you too. They feel exciting. They feel stimulating. They feel, welcoming. And they're definitely people. So they're definitely people person. Like there's never a dull moment around them, and they make it so it's that way, because they can't stand routine and stability. Like that sort of puts a kink in their energy. They like to be like flowing everywhere, and sort of some people would think chaotic, but others would think it's super fun and exciting to be around them. They will run circles around you. Whether it's in conversation or when you're doing something, you won't know you won't be able to pinpoint where they are exactly, especially if it's in a group. They're the type of person that like goes out with a group of people and then ends up with a completely different group of people with friends, and you don't even know where they are. You're like, oh, they just went off on their own and then met a whole new group of people and they're just chilling. So that's Gemini risings. Cancer risings. Cancer risings are the type of people that attract all the wackos in the world, go to Cancer risings and want to pour out their heart and soul to them and tell them all about their life and all their emotional problems and all their struggles. And that's just the type of energy they give off. They're very, receptive. They have this, face that's like, you can tell me anything, you can trust me, or confide in me. I've been through hell and back. It's sort of like their eyes are very watery, and their presence is very, comforting in an emotional way. And they are ruled by the moon, so this makes sense. But another aspect of being ruled by the moon is being moody and, very emotionally fluid and emotionally changeable. So, one day they're not in a good mood, don't talk to them, leave them alone. The next day they're like, well, why aren't you talking to me? It's sort of someone who, can change moods at the drop of a hat. And they are very affected by the people around them and the environment that they're in, because they do have this energy that sort of takes in everything around them. And that can be very challenging. Very, very protective. And you could sense that. And even though they are people who other people go to, kind of talk emotional or, be vulnerable, they are super conscious of who they open up to. A lot of people think that Cancer risings are just crying all the time and super emotional around everyone, and that's not the case. They are very smart and particular about who they open up to, who they cry their eyes out to, and a lot of times that crab shell keeps them from opening up to just anyone. They are protected, and they protect themselves. At least they should energetically. Leo risings. Big, bold, brave personality. Very in your face. Think Lizzo. Perfect example of a Leo rising. you know, she's in your face. She's happy with who she is. It's clear she's confident. It's clear she likes to be in the spotlight, but not in a way that's taking away from others. She's in the spotlight because that's where she belongs. The sun rules Leo risings, and there's no other way to explain how vibrant and bright and colorful and charming and charismatic these Leo risings personality is. They're very hard to ignore. It's very hard to ignore. It reminds me of when Lizzo showed up to that basketball game in like a thong, and she was like, "I'm here, what's up?" And she's just great. She just is who she is, and she owns her flaws in a public way, and she owns her flaws, and she owns, you know, who she is, and she will, you know, stand up for herself in a way that is, you know, very brave and courageous and noble. But they are performers. They like to put on a show. They like to perform. They like to, you know, make people like have a good time. That's what they're about. I mean, they are the sun, so they like to shine light on everyone and anything that they can. They do have this competitive streak, just like Aries risings do. They want to be the best, and they want the best of the world, and they want to be the best of the world. You know, anything that can show that they are the best, and they have the best, and they have the most supportive team, and they have, you know, they are the best. And they would agree with me saying this. They're not shy to say, you know, I'm the best. I'm good at this. I'm proud of being good at this. Virgo risings. I have here RBF, resting bitch face. A lot of Virgo risings, one of my best friends is a Virgo rising, and people are constantly like, what's wrong with you? Why are you so mad? Like, you know, what's up? And she's always like, I'm not mad. Like, I'm just like, this is just my face. Like, they're very in their heads. So when they're in their heads, their face kind of looks like very like, so they're not really aware of their face a lot of the times, but they're very in their heads. So they're very analytical, and they are very perceptive. They notice everything. They take everything in, and they analyze it, and they analyze all the possible situations, all the possible outcomes of making a certain action. And they will look like they're analyzing you 24/7. They're perfectionistic. So a lot of times these people are plagued by, you know, this aura of perfectionism. You know, they want to be able to put their best foot forward. And if they feel like they're not prepared, they're not going to try, which can be, you know, a procrastination sort of block there. And they sort of have this like fidgety, nervous, reserved energy. So they're not very out there, but they are very good to have on your side because they're smart and they pick up on things quickly, and they know how to analyze and to take things apart and figure out how something works. That's very, very much so a Virgo rising trait. And they'll always be asking questions because they are curious. They are endlessly curious. So Libra risings, so ruled by Venus. So we have, they're usually very delicate, and not delicate in like their body, but more delicate in their energy. So they're graceful is a better word. They're graceful, they're elegant. You know, when they know how to, you know, woo a crowd. They're charming. They know what to say to make people feel better. They know what to say and when to say it. They're very strategic in that way. And they're approachable. They're easy to talk to. They're easy to approach. They don't have this, you know, unwelcoming demeanor like some of the other rising signs have. They are very, you know, open to all. And they're easy to like. They're the best way I could describe the Libra risings is ease. So everything about them is ease. Not that they're easy, but their energy flows easily. They're easy to get along with. They're easy to like. They're easy. They're easy to persuade sometimes. They can be a little gullible. Easy to work with. They're, you know, they go with the flow. They're cooperative and they're sociable. And if you need a friend if you're very, you know, stuck in your ways, you might benefit from having a Libra rising friend, or maybe you wouldn't. Maybe they would emphasize that in you. But having a friend who, you know, isn't difficult, they don't make things difficult, you know, they're like, oh, change your plans, that's okay, like I'll flow with it, I'll flow with life, I'll just change my plan, or I'll go with you, whatever you need to do because something happened. So it's very like nice friend to have, someone who can just like go with it and make the best out of things. Scorpio risings, the most mysterious, complex, misunderstood rising sign, in my personal opinion. They give off the energy and first impression that they have a secret, they have multiple secrets, and they can keep your secret, and they are someone who is impenetrable. You cannot penetrate their aura. They look like they have a secret, and they're very private, and that sort of can be intimidating because they don't have to say a lot in order to make an impression, in order to be intriguing. Like they could say like 10 words, and then you're just like, whoa, I wanted to learn more about that person. So they do come on very strong. Again, they're ruled by Mars, and Pluto, but Mars traditionally. So they come on very strong. They're very intense. They tend to see the world in black and white and not really grays. So it's, black or white. It's like the situation is good or bad, right or wrong. They feel super strong, and they're super opinionated, and they do not change their mind easily. They're great at dissecting things, analyzing things, researching things, figuring things out. They're very, very perceptive and acutely aware of what's going on around them at all times. You will not catch these people, off in a daze or daydreaming or any of that. Like they will notice everything. Their energy speaks for itself. So it's not something that, needs a lot of, glam or, needs a lot of amping up. They show up and it's like, whoa, who just walked in? Even though they don't say anything, their energy speaks for itself. And they do make a very strong impression on a lot of people. They tend to like to control things from behind the scenes. So they may look like, they're unamused and unbothered, but they may have a whole plan on the back of their mind that they're executing, and you wouldn't even know it. All right, Sagittarius risings. Super fun, super energetic, super encouraging, enthusiastic. They're ruled by Jupiter, so the bigger the better with them. All press is good press. They tend to really light up a room, sort of like Leo risings. They tend to really light up a room. They really know how to elevate the mood, and they want to elevate the mood. They don't want Debbie Downers. They don't like to be around people who, always think the worst. They will always find the silver lining, and they are great at making people feel better and boosting them up, and they're super supportive. And I like to say that they're like the person that's friends with everyone. If you could pick out the person in the room who just like, they could walk into a room and not know anyone, and they would just look like they're socially comfortable in themselves. They're socially comfortable, and they're exploring, and they're meeting new people, and they're comfortable doing that. It's someone who can operate comfortably or at least appear to operate comfortably in a lot of variety of different situations. And a lot of that is because they have this lighthearted energy where they like to make everything a joke. They like to make everything fun and worth it. And that's really nice to be around, especially nowadays. Capricorn risings. So Capricorn risings are ruled by Saturn. So they tend to have, a difficult, sort of fearful outlook, which kind of makes them super cautious. They're super, they need to know all the facts before they commit to something. And when they do commit to something, they overcommit to it. They commit to it like it is like do or die. And they're very guarded and self-sufficient. And, they do that so that they don't have to rely on anyone else, because maybe they've been let down in the past, or maybe they don't want to even deal with rejection or disappointment or any of that. If it's all on them, they only have themselves to blame, and they are very hard on themselves. And you can sort of see that in like how they speak, how they present themselves. Like they're very, very on guard, and they do seem like they have very like high expectations, and they're perfectionistic. They're warriors. They're always kind of like worrying about, something. And that can be really detrimental to their energy. So Capricorn risings need to find ways to, release stress, or, to confide in someone or something, or do something to release this sort of fearful, cooped up energy that they tend to keep inside. But they tend to be really mature. Like they know what. When you meet them, you're like, okay, this person knows what they're doing. They know how to live and exist. They're super self-sufficient and independent. That's the sort of energy they give off. And they always look like they're on a mission. Like, okay, Aries risings do that too. Like they seem like they have places to be. But Capricorn risings quite literally like, okay, like what's the point? Get to it. Like, am I here to do this? Am I here to do that? Like they don't beat around the bush too. It's the same way. It's the same sort of similar like, I have things to do and places to be, but in a different way than Aries rising expressed. they always seem like they're on a mission. Like they don't do anything without thought, and they don't do anything without logic. They always like think like, okay, well, why am I doing this? They're not going to mindlessly do something. And they always tend to be prepared for the worst. So they're definitely, I don't like to say like the mom friend, but they're sort of they tend to fall into the caretaker role because they're so good at that, because they're so used to taking care of themselves that they know exactly, okay, this is an emergency situation. We need to do this, this, and this. So, they're great, super responsible and brilliant people. Aquarius rising, so they are ruled by Saturn as well, but it takes a different form when it's a fixed air sign. So Aquarius risings tend to be difficult to pinpoint because they have this like eclectic, eccentric like personality and aura around them. Like it's when you meet them, it seems like they know a lot and they have a lot to contribute and share. And people usually walk away from conversations with them being interested or intrigued in something, or being like, oh, well, that taught me something, or that's interesting, I'm gonna go research that. That tends to be the effect that they have on people. They always leave you with something to think about, and they tend to take pride in doing that. They're very rational, and they're very analytical, and they're also very in their heads. They don't miss a thing. They're perceptive and observant, and a lot of times they have like a really large and good system of compartmentalizing things in their head. It's like they're uncontrollable. You can't control them, and you wouldn't want to control them because they have such a unique, vibe and energy to them that just watching them is benefit enough, is a gift enough. And they always seem to like appear unamused or unaffected, and that could be in part because they're so up in their heads. They don't like really take in everything around them at all times that's going on, and so they can have this like very unaffected like aura about them, which is comforting too. It's like, okay, like, well, they're unaffected, like I guess like we're just gonna do this, like I guess it doesn't matter about this. But the world does affect them in a strong way, and they express that through their actions and through their their mental pursuits and through their intellectual pursuits, how much they care and how much they want to, make change and affect change in the world. They definitely stand apart from the crowd, and it's in a way that's sort of undefinable, which is really interesting. I like to say they're an enigma. So, they're like two things at once. They can be super social and super open to meeting new people, and then one day they just want to be alone and in their own natural habitat and by themselves with their thoughts. So that's a great quality to them too. Pisces risings. So Pisces risings are ruled by Jupiter traditionally, and they are also just like Sagittarius risings, who are also ruled by Jupiter, super optimistic, super enthusiastic. They don't like to, address reality. If reality is crappy and sad and depressing, they are going to find a different way to look at it so that they don't have to deal with the fact that the world's shitty and crappy. They always give people the benefit of the doubt. They are super idealistic, which can play against them at times when they are idealizing or glamorizing something and not really realizing like, oh, like this person's acting this way because that's who they are, like at this moment in time in their life. Like they're acting this way because, I'm a Pisces rising, so if you don't know, okay, so I was just about to say they're acting this way because they're going through something, and they, this is something's happening to them, and they're going through a challenging time. That's me saying, like, excusing their actions. If you couldn't even, I was literally just about to say, well, they're going through something, so that leads me to the next point. Super compassionate, Pisces rising, super compassionate. They're always gonna find, a reason to not believe that humans are trash. And that a lot of people view it as, a strength. Sometimes it is really a disadvantage because, they make excuses for people treating them like trash, and they just keep making excuses after excuses because humans are, I was just about to say humans are innately good, but I don't really know if that's true. Again, Pisces rising. So they like to see things how they want to see things, even if it prevents them from seeing the truth, which can be of their detriment if they're so oblivious. And they do kind of like have this kind of naive energy around them, this sweetness, this, out of touchness, out of touch with reality, energy. And that that's kind of sad to say. You know, they can have this oblivious energy, but they just want the best for everyone, and they want happiness, and they want prosperity for everyone, and they want abundance. And that's not realistic, obviously, but you know, a lot of times this dreamy out of touchness is just their way of trying to cope. So that's Pisces risings. And 26 minutes, not that bad. Hopefully my phone doesn't blow up and tell me that they can't save the video. But I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna make more videos in the future. So I hope everyone is having a great summer, and I will talk to you guys soon.